spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz,
Hello.
and we're here to read you your homegrown horrors.
Indeed we are. I am pretty excited. Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
So homegrown horrors are the paranormal, supernatural, spiritual, coincidental stories of strange happenings to you. You've gotten from your family, your friends, your own personal experiences. And we're happy to share them with all our other spooky friends.
I think it's the best you've ever done that. That was really, really good. I'm just going to take that soundbite and use it every single time.
Cool, perfect.
But like she said, that's what a homegrown horror is. And if you have a story you'd like to share with us, please email storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill out that form. It comes directly to us, or you can reach out to us on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Thank you to everyone who sends in the stories that you want us to share, because it really does make these episodes possible, and it makes these episodes a whole lot of fun that the folks that show up to watch these, because we actually do these live, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at youtube.com/scarish and twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. It's a really fun time. I look forward to it every Wednesday. I've been looking forward to it all day, to be honest with you.
He's just excited because we have a new GIF for subscriptions.
We do. Anytime someone subscribes, there's usually an animation that plays. And before, it was Haunter the Pokemon, like going like bleh, and then like a sound bite in the background. And we have switched it to something else that is more near and dear to our hearts, which you're going to see right now live. If you're listening to this and you've never watched a live show, you don't know the switch has been made. But if you ever show up, you'll know what we're talking about, because we did have a few folks subscribe when we were off the air.
Really?
Yeah, we had Kelly OG subscribe with Tier 1, their own money, B1EE3, which I think is supposed to be something else, but I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to spell. It looks like bleh. They subscribed with Tier 1 with their own money, along with Wallach's Koala, which was Tier 1 with their own money.
Nice.
So,
you guys are absolutely amazing.
So much. We appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you also have what is known as Twitch Prime, which means you get one free subscription every month to any channel you choose every 30 days. And Robin can tell you how you can link those. It's super quick.
Yeah, you can go to twitch.amazon.com and link the two. A Twitch account is free, so you just have to have his Twitch account. It links the two, and you get all this cool stuff from Twitch Prime. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. She's adorable. I love her. If you don't have Amazon Prime, if you go to scariest.com, down at the bottom, there's a link where you can get 30 free days of Prime and take advantage of Twitch Prime during that 30 days.
Indeed. So basically, Jeff Bezos gives everyone who has Amazon Prime $5 to spend on any channel on Twitch that they want, and it comes out of his pocket, and it goes directly to us, which is super awesome. I also want to point out something really fun. Every September, Twitch does this thing called Subtember, where subscriptions actually cost you half. Subscription is $5 a month. So it'll cost the viewer $2.50 a month, and we will get paid out $5 a month, and Twitch picks up the rest. So starting in September, I think it's like September 5th.
It's this year, it's Subway that picks up the rest.
It's actually Subway, who has been like partnered with Twitch, which is super cool, which means that next month, for those of you who subscribe month to month, you'll get a discount, because we have some folks that have subscribed for 12 months in a row. So you get a little bit of a discount this upcoming month, which is really, really fun.
Yeah.
So that's all the plugs that we got. We're going to jump into the stories for this week. I believe I am going first, correct?
Yeah.
And this first one is from Akbar, who is one of our loyal viewers, and the subject is passive pranker paralyzes person.
Well,
so
all right.
Some fun P words there for you. And it starts out like this. It looks like it has a little bit of a poem. Forgive the format, O Robin and Adam. Good greetings to you also, formatting madam. Blessed tidings to you, scarish family. Draft a story today, me, I will finally. It's pretty good. I really like the first two. Those are pretty solid. And it begins like this. Assalamu alaikum. I hope I said that right. And then there's other parts of that greeting that I absolutely cannot pronounce, and I will not butcher it. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be with you. Long have I awaited the day that you would read the words I have wrote, so here it be, friends. In parentheses, I have a ridiculously low English/writing score. Not apologizing, just informing. Anyway, this all starts in the land of the Aswangs, where people eat boiled duck embryo and chicken intestines. My dearest uncle happens to be a farmer, and at the time of the story, he wanted to clear some land for farming, but he refused to burn the area for a quick clearing and did it by hand. That's pretty
crazy,
awesome.
yeah.
Especially considering what's going on in the Amazon rainforest
Oh,
right
man.
now, which is just sort of being burned like completely because they decided they wanted to do something else with it. I don't know if it's completely, but it's insane. Like if you ever see the overlap where they take like the map of the fire going on and put it on top of the United States, it's basically like the entire Midwest or East Coast or West Coast is on fire. So pretty crazy stuff. We're going to get back to this email. So normally there would be no problem to this, but something went wrong. As he cut down a tree, he felt an odd feeling, and as the tree fell, so did he. You see, we are a very superstitious group of people, and we believe in asking permission before cutting trees, but this time he didn't. Normally they would do something minor like putting warts on a person or making them dizzy.
What?
In parentheses, they referring to the Fae folk. But this time they bore a grudge when they found him, and they brought him home immediately and called a witch doctor. Wow. I just want to sing that song. The witch doctor was very grim, and he told us the news, and we were concerned about hearing it. I think he told them, ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah.
Yeah.
Ting-ting, walla bing bang. Okay, I got it out of my system. I feel better now. Okay. They were very concerned. They were told this news by the witch doctor. You see, we asked permission to warn the Fae folk of what is to come and to let them know their home will likely be destroyed. And since he didn't warn them, they did harm. The ritual the witch doctor did revealed why such a heavy penalty of paralysis was given over this. The reason being stated, quote, since he failed to warn Fae folk of destroying their home, he has killed one of their young.
What?
I wouldn't have believed it if they hadn't been flown to our town to receive advanced medical care. They tried many things, but nothing was working. His wife, in parentheses, my aunt, did what was recommended, which simply enough was an apology, but the apology also didn't work. Running out of options, they decided on a more costly option, one of which I had doubts. They sacrificed 2 goats at the stump of the felled tree, and as if by magic, he was walking the next day.
Wow.
I didn't want to believe that it would be this way and that the Fae folk are real, but seeing a man looking like on the verge of death to suddenly being healthy the next day just shook me to my core. He swears up and down he wasn't bitten by a snake and that he hadn't eaten anything toxic, and the only thing that he did that day was clear the forest, and he is an extremely healthy person. Even now I question this, though my family just accepts the Fae folk curse as this cause. That's one of the stories of the Akbar clan, and with a clan that is A, Hispanic family where blood is thicker than blood, and B, a Muslim family where breaking bonds of kinship is forbidden. We are an extremely large family, and many of us have stories, though some of us have slightly private lives. Thanks for reading, and please share on the podcast because I want to be famous. Bye. And then another greeting that I can't pronounce and I'm not going to try, but thank you so much for writing it. May God reward you with goodness, I believe, is the translation of that one because it's the very next line. Your dearest Akbar, with a heart. And here's one for you. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's crazy shit, man. Like, imagine cutting down a tree and then all of a sudden being completely incapacitated. Like, if I was a goat, I would be like, this is bullshit. I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm imagining the tree as like the trees in Lord of the Rings.
I was thinking Fern Gully, but I think we're on the same page here.
Fern Gully's sad too. But the trees in Lord of the Rings are big, huge, walking, talking creatures.
Ents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be so
it's funny because
sad.
I'm re-listening to Adventure Zone, of course, along with other stuff. It's not the only thing I listen to, but Trent the Tree Ant just made an appearance. So
I just imagine them screaming, going down.
It's just weird though, man. Like there's going to be so many traditions all over the world and you never know when you're going to run afoul of one and it's going to wind up incapacitating you. And I think it's so funny they had to sacrifice 2 goats because like I said, like what the hell did the goat do? It just seems unfair, man. But hey, that's a pretty awesome story and a really good one to start with. So thank you for sending that in, Akbar. We appreciate you. Just so you folks know, we're reading 4 of them again this week. We did 6 last week because a few of them were short, but most of them are relatively long, except for I think this next one that's coming up.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think you have the shortest and the longest.
Sweet. So this one is from Rory. And it goes, hi, Robin, Adam, and Linda. Aw.
Hello.
I feel like MFM now where they're always like...
Hello, Stephen.
Yeah, hello,
My mom
Steven.
is our Stephen. That's so cool.
All right. My name is Rory. Pronouns are she and her. And I'd like to start out by... that reminds me of, what's that show with Rory in it? Gilmore Girls.
I was like, Rory McIlroy? The show is called PGA Tour. He just won, by the way.
What?
Yeah, crushed it. Good for him.
Man, lucky he didn't get struck by lightning.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like 8 people got struck by lightning. We brought that up on our last episode, too.
All right. I'd like to start out by saying I'm a huge fan of the pod. Thank
thank you.
I found y'all on Spotify, and I've been following this podcast for a while. Thank you. I'm a Vegas baby, so it's cool to listen to a hometown podcast. Anyways, love y'all. Okay, story time. Thank you. We love you too. For starters, I work at a church providing childcare. That's awesome.
It's really nice.
The story takes place there. All right. Scary things happening at church. I believe it. When I was in Catholic school, I was always afraid to go into the church at night. And I'm sure you're not supposed to because it's supposed to be like a holy place, but it's creepy.
Isn't it all supposed to be a sanctuary, though? Like, if you need to go, you're supposed to be allowed to go at night?
I have no idea. But we would have bazaars.
It's bizarre.
Like a fair. We would have like a fair
Right.
or a carnival or something. And so the church would be there and people would be hanging around the church and stuff like that. But anyways, that's literally what's written. Anyways,
They knew we were going to tangent.
My
They knew it.
my supervisor has proved my friends and I aren't crazy. So basically, I've had weird spooky things happen at work. For example, one time I was walking through our big open room on campus and I felt something run at me from behind and grab me. This spirit snarled into my ear and said, "What do you think you're doing?" and then passed through me. My friends have also seen a shadow figure, and so have I. Basically, we told our supervisor about it to see if she's seen something, and she joked around and called us crazy and said she's never seen nor felt weird here. Well, on Tuesday, my supervisor finally saw this shadow figure. The figure walked past the door and she saw it through the window on the door. And when she went to go see who passed the door, no one was there. Now keep in mind that there were only 2 people on shift, both of whom were in the same room when the shadow passed the door. Now she believes us and refuses to be in the big blue room alone. Moral of the story, believe your 17-year-old coworkers when they talk about seeing and feeling spirits. Anyways, I'm super sensitive to spirits and the paranormal, so I have tons of stories if you all want to hear them. Yes, we do. Please send them to us. Sorry if this is long and there are typos. That's fine because Spooky Mom fixes most of them.
Shout out Spooky Mom.
I'm sending this from my phone. Love y'all and stay spooky. Rory, your friendly Vegas dweller. That just reminds me of like Fallout New Vegas or something.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Rory, for your story. Yeah, I totally get creepy things happening in church settings and things like that. We had a graveyard built like right there too. So you expect ghosts and things, right?
Isn't a graveyard, the difference between a graveyard and a cemetery is a graveyard is connected to a church and a cemetery is not? And also, you can't bury ashes in a graveyard. You can only... I think I might have them backwards, but I know that's the difference. I just don't know the label for which one.
I don't know.
The one that's
any of
attached
this.
to a church, you can't bury ashes at. I'm pretty sure. And then the one that's standalone, you can bury ashes at. So,
I don't know.
anyways, excellent story. Thank you for sending it
Yeah,
in.
thank you.
All right, so I'm going to move on into my next one, which is also my last one of the show because we're going with 4. This one is from Chrissy Fox, which is the handle they go by on Discord, and the subject is homegrown horror. So, cool. Not a lot of clues into what we're about to get. Starts out like this. Hey, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. Just want to start off by saying you can read this on the podcast, and I am obsessed with the show. I found you on Spotify. Shout out to Spotify, which is also written here. And then a smiley face. I wanted to share my paranormal happenings with you.
Okay.
I have been debating writing in since I started listening back in September of 2018. So it's been about a year. The first ghostly thing that happened to me is quite possibly one of my earliest memories. I was about 4 or 5, I think. In the house we were living in at the time, my room was arranged so that my bed was in the corner of the far wall with the window on the left wall. One morning at about 6 or 7 a.m., I was hanging out in bed, and I was just laying on my back looking at the ceiling, and for some reason, I felt like I should look to my left. As I did, a black, smoke-looking blob slowly started to rise from between the wall and the bed.
That's creepy.
I just stared at it in confusion. Then, almost as if it saw me, it made a noise that I can only describe as a combination of a hissing and a shh. I pulled the covers over my head, which is hilarious because we all know that like covers will protect you from anything evil.
It's like you automatically do it because you don't want to see it.
Yeah, and it's a barrier between you and whatever's coming at you that it has to like get through in one way or the other.
Unless it's the grudge and then it crawls under your blanket and gets you anyway.
The next thing I knew, it was a little brighter outside and the thing was gone. I sat there wondering if it was a dream or if I was crazy. The more I think about it, especially now that I'm older, I think that it may have been a dream. One thing debunking that, though, is that I would always come running into my parents' room whenever I had even the slightest bad dream. Ever since, I cannot sleep without a blanket covering my ear.
Wow.
The next story.
I'm too paranoid because I'm scared that a bug is going to be crawling on the blanket and then crawl into my ear. But then at the same time, if you don't have the blanket on your ear, then the bug could just drop into your ear.
You can imagine a different scenario where something like assaults you like that, regardless of like what situation you're in. You have to not think like that. That's just what it comes down to.
I just am super paranoid about bugs and orifices.
That's gross. Really gross. The next story is more my sister's than mine. Way to jack that from her. Some things to note in this one. I am about 13 or 14 and my sister is about 10 or 11 at this point. We were homeschooled. Anywho, this one starts with our mom, or your teacher, in charge of decorating the church we attended for some event.
Okay.
I don't remember what time of year it was. It's okay, side note. It's kind of funny when you're homeschooled because you don't have to worry about having that embarrassing moment where you call the teacher mom, which I think has happened to everyone at least once. I know it happened to me in second grade. Embarrassing as shit.
It happened to me in 6th grade.
My teacher was single and she was dating some dude, and she brought him to our class to like introduce him to the school, and like I think he actually kind of worked in the school or with the school or something like that because our principal was there too. And the principal left and it was just her and him, and he was like saying bye, and I was trying to get her attention. I was like, mom, and I could see it on his face, like, is that your fucking kid? Like even as like a 7-year-old, I was like, oh shit, like I just got her in trouble. So okay, sorry about that side note.
I'm just it was my friend's mom. And she was our 6th grade teacher. Now that I'm a lot older, I realized how annoying I was because you say your teacher's name over and over and over again. And it's like the dog barking to go outside. She just does it over and over and over again. You're like, I'm sick of hearing your voice. And she must have been so sick of hearing all the kids' voices just calling her name, you know? And I just kept saying her name over and over again until it came out as mom instead of Miss whatever. And I just felt really bad.
I'm pretty sure the law in the United States of America in all 50 states is if one of your students accidentally calls you mom, you're allowed to strike them at least once.
Well, she looked at me in the eye. I looked at her. And instead of asking the question, I just walked away.
That's so funny.
I was just so awkward. It was so weird.
All right. We're going to get back to this now. Anywho, this one starts with our mom being in charge of decorating the church we attended for some event. Okay, cool. I don't remember what time of year it was, so it could have been anything. For some reason, Valentine's Day sticks out, though. Anyway, Mom wanted us to do some homework at the church since she was busy doing other things. My sister Kylie hated homework so much, especially when we were not at home, and she was trying to get me to play a game with her instead. I finally convinced her that if we got our stuff done early, we might get a 3-day weekend out of it, or at least an easy Friday. I think it's hilarious that you can like get a 3-day weekend out of your mom/teacher if you're homeschooled. So we were doing our homework, and my sister says, quote, "Did you see that?" I said, "No, what are you talking about?" She told me she saw a man walk past the door to the room we were hanging out in. I say that it was probably one of the guys who have a key, and they might just be passing by. She insisted that she had never seen this guy before. I blew it off, thinking she was only trying to get out of working. In parentheses, she still might have been. A few minutes passed by, and she said she saw him again, and we should find out who it was. I tell her to forget about it, and I kept on working. After some persuading, she finally got me to go upstairs to check it out. We looked outside for any unusual cars, but my mom's was the only one out there. We started to investigate the whole upstairs and found nothing.
It's creepy.
I told her that, of course, there was nothing and we should go back downstairs before we get in trouble.
Oh my
Shout out to
God.
Wilmer227 who just subscribed on Twitch using
Thank you so
their
much.
own money. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, getting back to the story. So there was nothing and they should go back downstairs before they got in trouble. Before we went, she looked at the pictures of all the former pastors on the wall of a sort of foyer area. She pointed to the founding pastor and said, "Hey, that's the guy I saw. He passed away a while before this,
What?
I'm pretty sure." Weird. The next one is what made me believe in ghosts. The next one is what made me believe ghosts might actually be real. So this other one didn't make you feel that way. Or the weird lost fog that showed up in your bed when you were 4 didn't make you feel that way.
That other one, though, could have just been some dude.
That just looked like it could have been like
Right.
the pastor's son or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that's very true. All right. But this is the next one that makes her believe that. So it's going to be fucking good. All right. Back to the church again. I was now 16 or 17 at this point. I want to say my dad used to be in charge of making the PowerPoint slides that had the words for all the songs for the congregation would be singing next week. He gave that position to me. For some reason, instead of buying PowerPoint, in parentheses, we did eventually, We would just go to the church and make them. My dad would almost always go somewhere else in the building while I did what I needed to do, and then he would come back and proofread everything before we left. Anyway, the computer was in the sound booth, which is basically a cooler version of an attic because it had window frames so you could see and hear everything that was going on. To get up to the sound booth, you had to go up some stairs. I'm pretty sure it was a normal amount of stairs, but it just felt long. When you got to the top, straight ahead is the computer desk. To the left is a storage closet, and to the right is another computer desk and then another storage closet. This sound booth was almost always cold no matter what time of year it was. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. You're lucky that your sound booth was cold because the sound room that we're in right now, also known as our office, is always hot, and it's so hot right now.
So the summer is incredibly hot here in Vegas, and I get it. It's a dry heat, and everyone says that, but you have a dry heat. We're on fire. The world is on fire.
Guess what's a dry heat? Fire. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Up?
And it
when
was
you
like
get to 118 degrees,
yeah,
I don't give a
it was
fuck if it's dry heat or humid. It is so hot.
It was 115 on my way home from school today, and that was like at 5 o'clock. It's starting to become evening. It's 115 degrees. We're dying. Yesterday, we went to go get water at our grocery store, and I had SWAS standing outside
at like 9 p.m.
At 9 p.m.
When the sun is down and it's still triple digits, you're living somewhere that's very hot.
It was horrifying. It was absolutely horrible.
More okay with someone being like, well, you choose to live there, than being like, 115, dry heat's not that hot. It's like, fuck you.
Right.
You're insane.
And so normally I deal with it inside the house. We have air conditioning. It's fine. But today, it's so hot outside. It's permeating through the entire house. I had to go get the fan from your mom's room.
Which is so rare for her.
And I never do
fans.
that. I hate fans.
Everyone knows she's team no fan. But
and
today, she's team fan.
I grabbed the fan
That's how hot
and I
it is
had
in
to
Vegas.
turn it on because it was just so hot and I'm dying.
All right, getting back to this story.
Anyway.
It says, anywho, because they knew we were going to deviate, back to the story. I was working on the slides as usual, and my dad was wandering around. I heard footsteps coming up the stairs and all the way to the computer desk. I thought it was my dad, so I said something to him, and there was no answer. I thought maybe he was distracted by something and didn't hear what I said. I turned around to see what he was doing, and there was no one there. I kind of thought, weird, and kept on working. Later, my dad actually came up to the stairs and sounded slightly frustrated when he asked me why I opened the storage closet door, in parentheses, the one farthest from me. I was confused, and I told him I had been right here working the entire time. Both of us brushed it off. On several other occasions, I heard the footsteps coming up the stairs again and also saw the door open by itself. I debunked the door. I made sure it was shut, grabbed the handle, and put dead weight on it and tried to pull it open.
The fact that you're calm enough to try to debunk it is totally impressive.
It's very smart. Once they did that, it stayed put. You had to turn the knob in order to open it, and yet it would just sometimes creak open ever so slightly for no reason at all. I know that's debunking or confirming something really weird is happening. Another random thing that happened in my bedroom around this time, in parentheses, different house than the first story, was actually kind of funny. I had a shelf above the window that my bed was under, and it held just a few figurines and toys and stuff. I had a glass bell with a snowman on it on this shelf, and my sister and I believe it was haunted, in parentheses, or suicidal. It was not really by the edge of the shelf, and yet it would, quote, jump off when we were just sitting and talking. I tried seeing if maybe things like people walking in the hall and closing doors made it fall, but nothing I did ever worked. One day after it jumped or fell off, I was getting tired of putting it back, so I shoved it to the back of the shelf, and it never did it again after that. It also could be that your shelf was like slanted. Whenever that happens to folks and you're getting creeped out, bust out a level and see if like it's just on a decline or an incline that's making something fall over. Okay, last story. This one absolutely freaked my mom out.
It's scary when it freaks the parents out.
Yeah.
Because my parents don't get scared easily. So if something scares them, it's scary.
And we will tell you about it. All right. At this point, I am married and also obviously in a different house than my parents. I was working overnight at the time and my body was not adjusting to it well at all. I forget how long I had been working that shift, but it was getting close to a year. Anyway, I couldn't sleep during the day despite having a dark, quiet room to sleep in, so I was getting sleep deprived. One night, as I was leaving for work, going through the backyard to get to the garage, I saw an all-black, Grim Reaper-looking thing with yellow glowing eyes.
Well, it's not evil because it's not red.
This thing was tall. Wow. Yeah, there you go. You're totally safe. Don't worry about it. It was maybe a foot or so past the top of the door.
Ooh, that's tall.
Honestly, I was so sleep deprived that I was more annoyed that he was blocking the door than actually afraid.
I can totally see that.
I think I got about 5 feet in front of him and just stared. He kind of looked like he acknowledged me. I looked away for a second and he was gone. I kind of just thought, that was weird, and went about my night. Later in the night, I saw him out of the corner of my eye a few times, but always from far away. One of my coworkers accidentally scared me when she came around the corner because I was focused on trying to see him in detail again. I still don't believe what was going on. A few months later, I transferred to days and then quit a few months after that, but I have never seen anything like that since. Sometimes I wonder if it was the black blobby thing from my first story. That's all I have for now. So far, nothing spooky has happened to me for a long time, but you will get my story ASAP if anything else does. Thanks for reading, and I hope you enjoyed all my random stories. Hope I didn't say anyway too much. LOL.
Well, they were needed, I'm sure, because we went on a whole bunch of tangents, so it works out.
Yeah, they were very necessary, so don't even feel bad about that. That last one is super fucking creepy. I don't know how you kept your cool seeing something that's giant and looks like the
But
Grim
imagine
Reaper.
being so tired that doesn't even register. And think about it this way, like maybe it was standing there and it's like, you don't look so hot. Oh man, she's not even scared of me. She must be like really tired.
Maybe it was a Reaper
and it just felt bad.
that like doesn't have anything on its schedule, but they're like, yeah, just hang out around someone who's like, on the verge. And it's like, this person's super sleep deprived. This is an accident waiting to happen. Like, I'm just going to hang out around her. And then like he forgot to put on his like cloaking device and he walked up and we're looking at him. He's like, oh shit, I fucked up. I'm just going to get out of her way now. Hopefully she doesn't say anything to the boss. There you go. That's the short story I created in my mind for what happened with that Grim Reaper.
All right.
So hope you enjoyed that. You're welcome.
Anyway, continuing on. So I'm going to read my next story because you're done, right?
Yep. And this is the last story.
This is the last story of the night, and then we're going to go into marbles. You guys can try and win free stuff. So if you guys want to hang on for a few more minutes so that we can get through the story.
Don't say it like that.
If you guys can,
I have to edit the shit out of this now because to the people who are listening to the regular podcast
that's not what I meant. You know what I mean. Okay.
Like, we're just shit to you.
So this is going to be the last story of the night. And I'm just going to go get straight into it. The subject is the hooded figure in my room.
That's creepy.
And it's not the thing that just hangs off of the rack behind the back of your door. Is it a hoodie
on like a rack? Because that'll do it.
Hey, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, that was off. You said hello. Okay. I found your podcast on Spotify around December 2018 and have binged it ever since. I love your dynamic and love the pod. Oh my God, we just had like a whole chat in our chat about how our dynamic is. I have a story. I'm not sure how good it is, but if the mood strikes, you feel free to read it on the pod.
The mood has struck.
My name is Brittany, and I am a young professional living in Southern California. The following story takes place on and off over the course of most of my young life from the ages of about 9 to about 24. I can't remember when the sightings began, but they were always the same. I'd wake up at exactly 3:11 a.m. It's the best band ever.
I knew you were going to say something about 311.
Damn it. Turn over to look near my bedroom door, and there it was. Standing near my bedroom door was a tall, dark, hooded figure. The shadows were cast in a way where there was no distinguishing facial features, but I could see that the figure was in a long, black, hooded cloak. It's probably a wizard.
I think this is from Brittany, who's currently watching, because I just looked over and it says, oh my God, this is me.
So the hood hung down, covering any potential face that may be lying underneath. Based on the size of the figure compared to the surroundings, I would estimate that it was about 6.5 feet tall. Definitely taller than anyone in my family. The first few times, I was quite frightened, as you could imagine any child would be. I'd wake up, have an unnerving feeling as though I was being watched. I'd suddenly get very hot and begin to feel sweat form at the base of my neck. I turned to look at the clock. It would always read 3:11. That band's just trying to get into your life. I would then focus my eyes near my bedroom door and closet doors, and there was the figure, standing, watching. The figure never spoke and didn't move too much, but I had this sense that it possessed nefarious intentions as if to harm me. When I was younger, I would pull the covers over my head even though I was sweating, because we all know that pulling the covers over your head makes you impervious to evil.
It just keeps coming back.
Yeah, it's how you protect yourself, for real.
I wonder how long it goes where you keep seeing this thing where you just like wake up and like roll over and like see it and you like two tap and like peace sign it like, what up, dog? Like 311.
I did that to to someone at work the other day. She did it back. I was so happy.
I did it to someone at work, and because I work at a place that's a little bit more formal, like I two-tapped and then gave like the peace sign, and they just like looked at me like, fuck you.
She was so it was one of the other engineers, and I did it to her, and she just did it back and winked at me. I was like, oh yeah, girl.
Now I'm just picturing the shadow robed figure being like two-tap, and then like a bony skeleton, 2 fingers comes out.
Oh my god.
It's like I never should have done that.
Okay. So I would lay there listening to my heartbeat and just pray to fall back asleep. While these sightings did not occur every night, it would begin a long history with this hooded figure. Every couple of weeks to months for the next 13 years, the sightings remained the same. However, as time passed on, I began to notice one simple but terrifying thing. The figure was getting closer. What?
That's fucked up. That's super
no
fucked up.
Okay, so they're over 13 years. Say it shows up periodically throughout 13 years. Is it moving fractions of an inch, or is it like an inch closer, and
It's
by
like
the
the
time
idea that between planes, I know that this is all just like speculative completely and could all be bullshit. I'm just saying this because this is what I think, but like between the planes that things could exist on, time can function very, very differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like something moving towards you could seem like it's in real time to that thing, but to you, it's actually happening over the course of 13 years, which is so
what is
fucking
that
creepy.
movie about time and the space movie? What is it called?
Interstellar?
Yes.
Time is a flat circle?
What? Did
It's
they
just-
say that in there?
No, it's just like the concept of time not being linear. It's a flat
It's wibbly
circle.
wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay. Continuing on. At the age of 17, I moved away from home to attend college. Once I got out of the house, the sightings stopped, and I forgot all about the silly figure in my bedroom. When it's creeping closer to you over the span of 13 years, it is not silly, it is frightening.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
When I was accepted into medical school 4 years later, congratulations, I moved back in with my parents to attempt to save some money. Once I had settled into my old room, the sightings began again. Only this time, the figure picked up where it left off in my room. That's messed up.
It's like you wake up, you see it, it's like, glad to have you back.
Like, oh my God, that's horrible. Like they hit save progress or something. The routine picked up right back up as well. Suddenly, I'm awake in bed. It's dark. I begin to feel the eyes on me. I get uncomfortably hot and begin to sweat. I turn to look at the clock, and damn it if it's not 3:11 again. I look toward the bedroom door, and there is a 6.5-foot shadow looking back at me. It happens so often that it eventually became an annoyance. Wake up, get hot, look at the clock, look for the figure, find it, sigh, say, yep, still there, roll back over and fall asleep. Eventually, the figure was standing at the side of my bed. One night, I challenged the figure, asking what it wanted and stating that if it was going to do something, then to just up and do it because I was tired. You're in medical school, of course you'd be tired. Also, something that you should know about me, demons or not, once it gets past a certain time of night, I give 0 fucks.
That's hilarious.
I just want to sleep and am annoyed at any minor disturbance. Cat meowing.
I'd say a demon approaching you isn't a minor disturbance.
Cat meowing, shut up and throw a pillow. Boyfriend snoring, smack in the face. Did I sleep through that alarm? Well, do I really need this job anyway? That's funny. I do the same thing.
I do it every time my alarm goes off for the last 15 years of my life.
You do not rest when you do that. You're just wasting time because you don't sleep. Your body's just, ugh. Who was it? Was it your mom that was like, you guys should just wake up?
Yeah. Set your alarm for the time you need to wake up because like you're just stealing time away from yourself and you could actually rest. I don't know if I could do it.
I don't think I could do it because I'd snooze even later. And then I would never get to work on time.
Or if I slept through that one alarm, or if I snoozed it, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Also could be a recipe for being more rested, but who the hell knows, because I'll probably never try it.
Right. The last night I recall seeing this figure began as any other night. Wake up, hot, clock, 3:11. Look at the side of the bed, there it is. Only tonight, its right arm is outstretched to where it is hovering above me. I look up to where a face should be and there's nothing, just a black hole that seems almost eternal. Once I see that emptiness that lies behind the hood, I suddenly get really cold. I get the feeling that my hair is standing up. Now I have very long hair going down past mid-back. Holy crap, that's really long. As I continue to wake up, I realize that a chunk of my hair is standing upright and I see that the figure is holding it there. I blink and the figure disappears. Then my hair falls down and lands upon my face. Fuck that shit. That's horrifying.
Is
That's
it white now? Do you look like
horrible.
Rogue?
I was going to think more like Anna.
I guess.
from Frozen. Okay.
Britt Newt has confirmed in the chat, no, it is not white now. Good to know. However, I think that'll be a good look. The rogue look is pretty good.
After this night, I began to sleep with my hair tied up, and I started staying with my then boyfriend more often, and eventually began moving into another place with him and got married. Ooh,
Congrats.
Ooh, ooh. I have never seen the figure again, and I don't really want to know what else would have happened, as I'm pretty sure after years of showing up in my bedroom, its main mission was not to just touch my hair.
It finally gets there after 13 years, and it's like, look at these split ends.
Look at this photograph. My parents have since moved, so there's no reason for me to spend another night in that house. I wonder if someone else moves into that bedroom, it's just going to start messing with that person.
It's probably going to get
where it left
reset,
off.
and it's like, my fucking checkpoint was right next to the bed. I hate this game.
When we were all living in the house, my sister and mother reported seeing a girl dressed in a white dress passing through the hallway behind them while looking in the bathroom mirror. They also reported hearing their names whispered at night, and sometimes lights would turn off or on by themselves. That is horrifying. My apologies for the long story. It was totes good. I'm a doctor, not a writer. So that means your writing is like scribbles. That's what everybody always makes fun of about doctors is they can't write because they just like scribble really fast.
Their handwriting is like supposed to be terrible.
But I don't know. You could have the nicest handwriting in the world, I bet.
Your email was written really well,
yes.
or my mom did an amazing job fixing it.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I just want to say thank you so much for what you do and for providing a space for people to share their stories without feeling ridiculed. I don't consider myself a true believer, but more of a skeptic, and still think that maybe at times the figure was a figment of my own imagination. The community that you two have helped create is so welcoming and supportive of each other, and I don't think that we can thank you enough for that. You guys are an amazing community, and we thank you guys for being an amazing community, because we could have a really toxic community, but we don't, because we don't put up with that shit.
Yeah, and you folks support each other. It's kind of crazy because like some days I'll get off work and I'm like, there's like 120 messages in Discord that I need to read, and sometimes they're in like the mental health chat, and I'll go and be like, oh no, like maybe someone needed to talk and I wasn't available, and then I see that like you folks are helping each other, you know, and it's like it's not that I'm not necessary, but I'm not required to be there, you know what I mean? And that makes me feel so relieved that you folks are so supportive.
I truly enjoy what you do and hope that you're able to do this for many years to come. Much love, Brittany. I do have one funny story if you have time. When I was a kid, my parents would leave for work pretty early, around 5:30 a.m. This means they were usually gone by the time I woke up for school. One morning, I wake up and hear what I think is my dad's work shoes clacking on the tile walking around. I thought it was weird that my dad was still home, so I grabbed my phone by my bed and called my mom. And then it's going to go through a dialogue. So, me, hey, Mom, is Dad at home? Mom, yeah, he is. Why? Me, okay, good. Never mind. I heard someone walking around the house, but I guess it was him. Mom, oh, I thought you asked if he was at work. He went to work. He's not home. Is there someone there? Me, oh, well, let me check. I don't hear the footsteps anymore. Mom, well, be careful. I'm glad it was probably nothing, hopefully. I quietly get out of bed to search the house. I peek my head out my bedroom door, but the house is dark and I don't hear anyone. I begin turning on all the lights, smart move, in the house that I come across. And finally, I've moved about the house and didn't find anyone. Suddenly, I hear the footsteps again coming from the kitchen. Fuck that shit. I go to the kitchen only to find out that apparently my cat vomiting sounds a lot like footsteps on the tile.
That's hilarious.
So not only did I almost wet my pants, now I had to clean up cat puke first thing in the morning. That's hilarious.
That's really funny.
Because I can totally imagine that, because listening to our cat throw up, I can totally think that it's someone's shoe clacking. Not clacking necessarily, but the deeper sound shoes can make on tile.
Right. It's kind of funny because this morning, like, our dog was, like, heaving, and I thought to myself, like, looking over at Robin, like, as she was snoring, like, it must be really nice to have a brain that can just say, like, oh, that's his fucking problem. Because I am the one that's designated to be in charge of cleaning up pet vomit at all times. That's why sometimes I'll just leave cat vomit on the stairs.
When you're gone, though, I wake up because I know you're gone and I have to make sure the dog goes outside before she throws up on the carpet.
There's no turns when we're both together. It's just me all the time. But that was an amazing story, Britt. Thank you for sending that so much. It's really, really fucking creepy. There's a Grim Reaper-like figure creeping towards the bed in your room, and hopefully that whoever winds up sleeping in that room doesn't have to experience that. But if they do, I hope the progress has reset so they don't pick up from your last save point where the thing is right there holding your hair, because that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. When you have long hair like that too, just imagine like long hair that just falls down onto your face.
Like someone was holding it?
I would freak the fuck out.
That's super creepy.
Like, nope, no. which I'm sure maybe freaks you out when my hair gets in your face.
It doesn't freak me out. It's just annoying. It's like I can't breathe. Is
You're
that a
annoying.
spider on my face? I have no idea.
All right. Thank you so much for sending that story, Brittany. You're awesome. So just a reminder, if you folks go to our Teespring store, I posted the link in the chat, but you can always get to it through Facebook and our website and things like that. But if you use the promotion code CLEAR and the number 5, CLEAR5, you'll get 5% off your entire Teespring store purchase from us. Definitely helps support us. And I am taking a couple designs down at the end of the month. So if you guys go check it out, buy some stuff, that'd be awesome.
Right on. I also want to remind folks that if you share the episode when it's been released, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and you tag a friend in the comments, you will get an entry into our giveaway, which ends on September 17th. And we'll be sending you out a bunch of Scarish themed stuff along with some of our merchandise that we'll probably autograph if we can. And we would appreciate it because we can grow our audience when you harass your friends to listen to the show or watch the show. Shout out to the folks that joined us on youtube.com/Scarish and twitch.tv/Scarish podcast. It makes these things so much more fun, and they're already a blast to begin with. Thank you to everyone who sent us your stories. And if you have a story you'd like to send in, email storytime@scarish.com. Go to scarish.com, which is our website, and click on Contact Us and fill out that form. Or you can hit us up on any of our social medias. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're all attached to our scarish.com page. And if you need to know them, facebook.com/Scarish podcast. Instagram is @Scarish podcast, and Twitter is @Scarish pod. Fun stuff. Robin, for the folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
If you head on over to patreon.com/Scarish podcast, those are monthly donations, and tiers do start at $1, so you can get some extra bonus content there, some discount codes that we have going on right now, because I think for patrons you get 10% off. So patrons get 10% off right now. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming out for fall that I'm really excited about. A lot of the patrons that are on there have already seen them, and it seems like Glitch is super excited, which is awesome because I am really proud of the new Jason Voorhees design I have going on. You guys can see that on Instagram, that one design. But I have 5 designs going on. So if you join Patreon, you can check them all out and see what the Badge of Honor tier and above are going to get for the fall. And if you go to coffee, ko-fi.com/Scarish podcast, that is one-time donations, and all those donations help support the podcast and help us upgrade our studio setup. If you folks have watched us from the beginning, you'll see that our quality has definitely gone up a bunch, and it's because of people like you guys that donate and help keep this thing going.
And just FYI, I know I've mentioned a lot of times, we run off an Asus Republic of Gamers laptop. Shout out to them. It's great, but it is getting up there in age. I'm going to have to get a new computer soon, and some of the donations that have been made to this point since we've been talking about it are going to go to the new computer, and every time we get a donation, that's one extra tier we can move it up. So rather than buying something that's like, oh, that's a pretty good bang for its buck, like it'll get you by, like we can get something that'll make the stream run smoother, and we can have more reliability when it comes to doing things like recording and doing a bunch of multitasking. Right. So that is coming up very soon, and all those donations definitely help out. I'm very, very excited to get a lot of new things going with the stream. Robin and I have talked about a few things that we're not ready to unveil yet, but we're going to start doing a few extra things for everyone, and it's going to be a fun time. So I think that's just about everything that we have for Storytime number 81. So go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.